Hi, it's Bob1975 and welcome to Elite Dangerous on the Legacy version on Xbox. And I've really reached a situation where I'm like, what should I do about this? What should I do? So I thought I'd make a video and discuss it with you guys and let you comment below. However, be warned.
Oh shit, here we go again.
Now at the time of recording this, I have 172 videos in my cheats playlist. And this only goes back to like the Black Ops 2 era. All the older content I actually purged. When I moved over from Call of Duty to Elite Dangerous, I deleted some of the older Call of Duty content that was made using my very old capture card because the quality was ass. And I figured that if someone come across those videos, they might not subscribe because they might think my content is made on that fuzzy, horrible capture card still. Whereas these days I use a HD60 Elgato capture card. Even back in the Call of Duty days, I was using, I switched to a Elgato standard edition, and then I got the HD60 thanks to Deadweight Don. And so yeah, even with purging a lot of the cheat content, I still have 172 videos in my cheats playlist. Now most of these people went through a similar cycle of hating me, denial, abuse, and a lot then eventually accepted it. Now a lot even blocked me. Some even became my friends. Some people just put their hands up and said, yeah, I did that, I'm so sorry, I shouldn't have done. In fact, there are more cheat videos I haven't made because people have apologized before they've had a video made. However, today we're talking about someone who seems quite obsessed. Now I'm not gonna give you his point of view because this message, if you pause it and read it, pretty much tells you he believes everything I say is basically lies, and I lie in every video and I lie about everything. I think I just give my opinion and my side of the picture, but because I don't say everything, it must be a lie. Yeah, he feels I should be able to break the laws of objective reality and know everyone's opinion all the time and bring you everyone's opinion on something, which is kind of impossible, but that's what he expects. So yeah, I feel sorry for other YouTubers he's a fan of. I'm bringing you a selection of random clips I had of me running into him. This one is an absolute nothing burger. He just happened to be in a Harmer when I was there doing my slave hauling. I figured it was him from the ship name Naughty Timmy. I didn't have a clue why he was there, but I didn't care, so I just carried on with my slave trucking. Yeah, shouldn't have boosted then, but he has had a tendency lately of turning up where I am, just randomly, and then making weird out of context clips and putting them on Xbox Club with no explanation or context with a weird title. Yeah, so I have no idea. This next clip of he just Commander Scooby. Me and Scooby had been up in a I think it was a Imperial expansion, just doing a bit of power play killing and collecting of materials. We were really tired and we were just heading back to our carriers to go off to bed. With that clock tells you it's like quarter to midnight. That means it's quarter to 1 for us. And when I jumped into Subaru's, Tommy was there, which is odd because it was odd, but he's KOS, so I'm going to interdict him and start attacking him. I am in my PvE vet, and I have no idea how many banks I had left at this point because, we'd been grinding out merits for a while. We've been doing the stupid 10-point merit zones, which I really hate doing. They're not worth doing. They're really not. 10 merits per kill is horrific. Takes forever, and that's probably why we were heading off, because it had been meh. But anyway, so me and Scooby rejoined wing. I attacked him. I didn't know how fast Scooby had got back to it was his carrier. But yeah, we jumped in 2v1. Now he made a clip of this, put it on the club with no explanation or context. And yes, it's a 2v1 situation, but it's not an agreed 1v1. I'm in a PvE ship. I think I do okay up until Scooby turns up, even though I have only got a byweave shield on this thing. I don't know what. Tommy's got a Prismo on his, but I wasn't sure it was a Prismo until someone pointed out to me the colour of the shields and the banks. I'm never sure about the colour of shield and stuff. I don't really take notice of that sort of thing. I did get this comment about this on a comment on YouTube. Yeah, we are both pretty terrible, but I don't know what you mean. Yeah, we definitely 2v1'd them in your vets. but I only honour agreed 1v1s, not organic PvP.
So you have chosen death.
Yeah, I hate to break it to the guy who made that comment. I mean, organic PvP is a free-for-all. If you want a 1v1, you have to challenge people to 1v1. Also, like, you can see there, I've got 23 shots for my railgun that I haven't bothered putting plasma slug on yet, which I have now put plasma slug on it, but which means, yeah, I'd been doing this a while. Considering that I mostly just use the beam lasers and very rarely fire the railguns, this means I've probably been out and about for a couple of hours. I'm not even sure of my bank situation, whether I've got where I used some of my banks or not. For looking at my heat sinks, I don't think I've used that many. But yeah, I was holding my own, and when Scooby turned up it was over very quickly because his hull starts dropping like crazy. So clearly he hasn't got a lot of hull on that, because you can literally just see it dropping and dropping and dropping. So Scooby would love to fight in 1v1 in his phasing vet for sure. Are we terrible? Yeah, we're terrible in a lot of ways. But I will say this, we do honour our 1v1s, and if you challenge us to a 1v1, it stays 1v1. So, you know, I think that was what was being said. I'm not 100% sure, and I really don't care. It was a nothing burger of a clip, and I didn't even record it. I actually had to go back and capture it afterwards when I realised there was a kerfuffle over it. So, you know, it was one that was passively recorded. Now, recently Tommy's taken to commenting on YouTube, which is handy. This was his rundown of what happened when he menu logged and then combat logged on me in his Asp Explorer. This is the video he highly contests and said I lied about, but his events seem to match up with what I said. I applaud it because that's the closest to a confession he's ever going to come to. Now I've got a clip. This was 2 1v1s I had with him. It was, again, ridiculously late at night, nearly 3 in the morning. He asked me to come to Malander and fight him, and I was mining, so I got off from mining, went to my carrier, booked a jump, jumped to Malander, jumped over to the system, waited a long time for him. So that's already like, we're already at nearly 2 o'clock when he finally steps into a ship. Now, he told me to bring whatever ship I wanted and then decides to fight me in his Vulture. I point out this is ridiculously pointless because I have 9,000 shields and he would have to reload multiple times. I don't even know how many times he'd have to reload to get through my shields. I wouldn't even want to sit there and do that test. It's literally insane. So I was like, this is ridiculous, just get a big ship. But he told me not to tell him what to do, and he doesn't believe in that, you know, PvP 1v1s should be in equal ships. It's frustrating, it's annoying, but like, he wants to do it. You know, I've travelled all this way, I've spent the money on the tritium, I've taken time out of my day to come down here to, you know, give some entertainment, have a 1v1. A friendly 1v1. Instead it turns into an absolute aggro fest of annoyance and ridiculousness. Like, even just looking at his ship, just, I don't even want to get started. The funniest bit of the 1v1 was the fact that at one point he flies so far away from me he can't see me, and I can still see him because I can still see his trail, so I had to actually fly over to him to guide him back to me. Yeah, to say this fight was boring and redundant would be an understatement. And at 3 in the morning, like, it's not really the entertainment I'm looking for, you know? Like, it just isn't. But yeah, he doesn't believe size categories matter, and I'm like, keep explaining to him, when you do an organised 1v1, it's just to make it fun and have a bit of fun. A friendly 1v1 should be a fun experience for both parties. Anyway, he then ruins his earlier admission of combat logging by, of course, sticking to his story that I forced him to log. Yeah. I don't know still how I did this forcing, but you know. Now the thing is, it's a combat log, which means someone's initiating combat within the log. So to say that someone interdicting you forced you to combat log is kind of redundant, because there's always going to be an interdiction in a combat log. That's the whole point. There's combat initiated for it to be a combat log. Someone has interdicted you, which is an assault, which has kicked off the incident. Now that incident could be piracy, it could be PvP, but from point of interdiction, you've been assaulted if you combat log blah blah blah. So that's that. It's very, very simple. You know, it's not difficult. It's incredibly simple. Now, I don't know how I forced him. Was it my telekinetic powers? My amazing charm? Do I have powers of voodoo? We are yet to hear the full explanation of how I forced him to combat log. If it's just that I interdicted him, then that's not forcing someone to combat log. That's him making a conscious and active decision to exit the game in a manner that's not befitting. Now, I've also told him repeatedly that menu logging is not a good idea. Now, I'm quite light on menu logging. I don't tend to make videos about it because, as far as I'm concerned, after they've basically said it's impolite and rude, and it's basically the community see it as combat logging, and they have said it's technically combat logging, but they won't ban someone for menu logging. They have talked in the past about increasing the timer, but they never did. I don't even know what he's doing, because he doesn't even have his harm points out or shoot me. He's just literally flying around and around me. So I don't know what he was looking to achieve, like, from this. It's very weird. Like, I spent a lot of time just watching him and like being like, well, what are you doing? Like, he's not shooting me. He's not doing anything. If he's just experimenting with being a stealth ship, then I don't know. But like, your trail's very easy to follow. You're very visible. Yeah, it is quite bizarre. I don't know. I'm kind of at a loss to what he was up to. And like I say, here, he flew so far away, he lost track of me and was like, "You still in instance?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So I had to fly over to him to show him where I was. It's like the most ridiculous waste of time at 3 in the morning. But you know, I took the time out of my day to come all the way here to have some fun 1v1 pews with him. You know, I'm proud of the fact that he stopped logging. I'm happy that, you know, that's good. It's a shame that he's so obsessed with the video that was made 5 months ago, and it like obsesses over it completely, and it's a bit weird and it's a bit odd. Most people who cheat in a video game move on from it, but he's very, very stuck and focused and a nerd on that event. That's my opinion. That's not fact. That's just my opinion. And he can get offended by that, but that's just my opinion. I'm not going to try and give you his opinion. I'm going to leave him to do that in the comments down below, because I don't know his opinion. And I honestly don't know as to how I forced him to combat log, or how he claims I forced him to combat log. And I'm not wholly sure of basically anything when it comes to this guy. Now here is a conversation he was having with Scooby, and it's interesting how he asked Scooby how many times Scooby combat logged. This is a classic trope for the record. No DMPS member has logged. That's actually one of our rules for joining.
It's only a game. Why you have to be mad?
Cheats always follow the classic tropes of accusing others, or saying that, you know, the whole everybody does it type attitude. It's one of the classics. But he also said that I rammed him to death in this. It's kind of weird because he's going faster than me in the same direction. Like, this is a head-on collision. For a head-on collision, both parties have to crash into each other. So to say that I rammed him is a bit of a weird one. But like I said, I don't know what he was up to. He didn't really get his guns out. This was a complete just time waste. And yeah, so at this point I was just getting really bored and annoyed, and like, you know, it is pretty pointless. I mean, I've got fixed weapons on this, and hitting a fixed vulture is just a pain in the ass. But there we go. He claimed that was me ramming him to death, but it was like a good old 50-50 collision. I mean, I worked in insurance. You're not getting away on a car accident saying that was all one party's fault. So anyway, I headed back to my carrier to go back, jumped back to my mining spot, and probably call it a night and go to bed. And then he decided to call me back and was like, "Okay, I'll fight you in my vet." I'm like, "Okay." So I didn't really have to do a lot of reloading for my cannon ammo because I hadn't really fired a lot, and I hadn't obviously used any banks. So I was like, "Okay, I'll come straight back." I do load up a little bit because cannons and ammo is always an issue. And as you can see, basic reload, I don't use primo or standard ammo. Never have, never will. It's one of those things that we don't do in the Dark Marauders. It's another one of our silly little rules. Yeah, we don't use primo, we don't combat log, we don't use exploits or cheats. If it's defined as a cheat by FDev, we don't do it. It's really that simple. So anyway, he had a pulse laser vet, which should be really good against my crappy thermal resistance. He gets like a 15 or 18% damage bonus on his thing, but he still has to carve through 9,000 shields, so this is going to take a while. Now we decided to fly away from the station and do the fight. I would always advise doing fights just in low space, jumping up into Super Cruise and just dropping into low space, just so you don't have any issues. Now this is another one of his claims that I constantly harass players, constantly. I don't think he understands what that word means, because I don't constantly, because I mine most of the time.
Stop it. Get some help.
Again, I didn't actually actively record this incident. I ended up having to dig back through my archives and dig it out from the passive recordings before I deleted them, just because he decided to make this incident a bit of an issue, and I have no idea why, because it's a nothing burger of a 1v1. Nothing happens. It was wholly uninteresting. You'll see why as it moves on. But yeah, he's also got a bee in his bonnet currently tonight that apparently I censor my posts, or I censor links posted on my YouTube channel. I don't allow links. I allow all posts. If YouTube don't allow a post, it's got nothing to do with me. And you know, asking me in different places doesn't change the answer. Honestly, I'm watching this back on the preview screen because I can't really remember like much about this fight. And we passed and go'd and started, you know, because he's in a laser build, I give him a huge advantage. I'm fixed cannon, so like that chaff is a bit of a waste. I believe I think this is more of a PvE vet that he's fighting me, and I don't know, but like, yeah, because he has got a multi-cannon vet, so I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't know his ships that well. But anyway, the fight kicked off, and yeah, the one thing I'll say is it is reasonably difficult for newer players to cope with the 4-shell cannons. They are a pain in the butt for most people. As much as my vet is a troll joke build that isn't actually that competitive, it is super annoying to fight against. And also it can quite comfortably sit like this, 4 pips to shields, 2 pips to weapons, and fight like that all day long. So it is fairly tanky with its 9,000 shield strength and 4 pips. But again, chaff is not really going to help him. And I don't even remember if I fired banks or any banks off or anything. Honestly, this fight's a bit of a mystery to me. The problem was that I'm pushing him backwards, he's also reverse skiing, and as you can see the station is leaving behind us. So at some point he gets a warning from the station, and I don't think he knows that you only get a fine for shooting in the no fire zone. Right? That's it. So at this point, as you can see, I've cancelled a lot of his banks. I haven't even fired a bank, so I think I'm doing okay. But like I said, because of the 4-shell cannons, he's being pushed backwards quite a lot, and yeah, that's causing some issue. So at some point he gets a message warning him about going into the no fire zone. He panics, tells me to stop shooting. You can see he's put his guns away there. I don't realise for a moment, and then I put my guns away there, as you can see, and then he starts banking, so I get my guns out again, and I'm like, well, that's cheeky, telling me not to shoot and then banking, come on. And at that point he turned his shields off and then had a rant which I can only describe as reminding me of Arnie from Predator.
Come on, kill me, I'm here, kill me! I'm here, kill me! Come on, kill me, I'm here! Come on, do it now, kill me!
But like, I had no interest in killing him. I just wanted to come down here for a fun 1v1. He got salty, he got ranty. I didn't really care. He then went on to menu log after throwing an absolute wobbly in party chat. But I had no interest once he switched his shields off. Yeah, it just annoyed me because we're now like 2:24, so it's 3:24 in the morning, coming up 3:25. I've taken the time out of my day to come all the way down here, and it has been an absolute and utter waste of my time.
Wankers! Fucking embarrassing. Waste of our time! Fucking waste of our time!
That's all. I'm not making a big fuss about him menu logging. The fight was over, there was nothing going on. So I will just thank Devo for the clip and say that's all. Thank you very much for watching, and Tommy, please bear this in mind.
Scrap that we've started.
Oh my god.
I could just carry on playing this for a while. No, all right, anyway.
We actually shut the stream down, but we're going to keep playing here, so...
Look, I'm not allowed to because it's technically combat logging. So what I'll do is I'll leave this running and then see if my multi-crew companions can